months later. And if we'll remember the movie, I think it's National Treasure, it says, "Hey honey, do you want to know who killed JFK?" And he pulls that thing out of the president's office, and it's a little microfiche thing. And it'll get right into this. We do have the operational potential of subliminal perception. This is from the Central Intelligence Agency up there that we can see. It was declassified from secret in 1994. And this is, again, is the operational potential of subliminal perception. And it says, perception is demonstrated to have occurred below the threshold of conscious sensory experience when a person responds to a stimulus too weak in intensity or too short in duration for him to be aware of it. We kind of had an example of something like that here today. And it goes on to talk about different examples here. I think it would say individual behavior without awareness of the stimulus, of which subliminal perception is a subtype, has been a subject of study in psychological laboratories for at least 70 years. Okay? And a great deal of technical data has been collected on the subject. Recently, it has been associated with some theories of depth analysis and popularized for possible commercial exploitation by the advertising world. Anybody who has been in advertising or movies and so on will tell you that this is a major part of it with the subliminal messages and so on. There are innumerable examples of that for anybody to look up with just a little bit of research. And so we're going to get in here with the former CIA director. And Operation Mockingbird came out in '74. We do see that the congressional hearings, it's admitted that the CIA is influencing foreign media in order to have an outcome in our media here, because remember the CIA is supposed to operate outside of the borders of the United States. And what does he say? He says, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." Okay, they have been on this as a matter of acute targeting with specificity, with such, I mean, you almost want to say magnificence. It's unbelievable what these guys have gotten away with. You have to give them a sense of credit, recognize your enemy at that point. Personally, is how I feel about this, because we get into stuff like this. This is the development of weaponry for psychological warfare. You can see that this is from 1963. It came from confidential, it came down to unclassified. It gets into many different things. Again, you can see the header there. That's the development of weapons for psychological warfare. You have the accession numbers and so on. Distribution is unlimited of this. And anybody, last I checked, they had scrubbed this. It is backed up. You can't find it. And it just kind of gets into the different technicalities of kind of just the document itself. I'll let you guys read that later on. And you know, it was from confidential, and it gets into like the photic flicker rate, which is something that they'll use in conjunction with the operation of potential or subliminal perception, the operational potential for that, because it hypnotizes people literally, and we're dealing with this on television on a massive basis and to the tune of hundreds of millions of people just in this United States alone. And it talks about the different electrophysiological aspects of mind control and other types of sensory deprivation in this document. It's in a lot of good detail, and it's very interesting, and this kind of carries us through the timeline. And I had a video there, Bobby. Did we not see that video? Let's go back, because I think that we need to find that. I think that it comes in. Let's go ahead and pop that in right here, because what we have is, I'm just going to take it back a little bit, because we have the operational potential of subliminal perception. We get into saying that this is supposed to be false, and then we see this coming to fruit in the public. And let's go ahead and roll that video, that little clip.
Which one exactly?
The one that you cut. This one, Bobby. And it says in National Treasure, "Hey honey, do you want to know who killed JFK?" This was the beginning of a new era of mind control. And what you're going to see is you're going to see her lean into him, shoot him, throw the gun behind his back, crawl out in what is called misdirection on the back of that trunk. And this is a textbook example. Now, regardless of all the other things that we have heard about this case, okay? Regardless of any of those things that we have heard, it's all been a lie, just like we saw up here. Well, you know, it's going to be complete when they feel like everything that they believe is a lie. And it's very plain to see that regardless of any other shooters that may have been involved in this case, she clearly, if you'll run that one more time, shoots him. She leans into him. The blood wounds are consistent with that. and she shoots him. She throws the gun behind his back and crawls out of the truck. Now, I can tell you, when I realized this, I about had a seizure myself, because it's amazing, it's profound, and it changes everything, because you realize the depth of the mind control that has been going on since this time, which is, we're looking at, 53 years, 52 years. And so this is something that goes way back, and it's been that heavily controlled. This is the Zapruder footage on a loop, okay? Well, that was, they misdirect everybody from the car the whole time. And that's the operational potential of subliminal perception. And this is something that they know has gone on. And so that's where this brings us to this. And, it's self-explanatory. So I'm going to skip back up here. And again, we look at this and it's just like, oh, really? And so obviously there's a UFO aspect. Obviously there's something building with these ETs. Of course, we've heard this about JFK, that he was going to release some of this information and so on. I would agree with that